Hello. Days of Our Lives spoilers finds that right now, we know that Will Horton is in jail for the murder of Adrienne Kyriakis, but what we don't know is how exactly everything went down. We know right now that Will has accepted the blame. We don't know how he originally pleaded, but for the sake of argument we can assume either guilty or no contest. It's obvious that he blames himself for whatever happened to Adrienne and feels an enormous amount of guilt for taking his now ex-husband's, Sonny Kyriakis, mother away from him. But the question remains, did he actually even do it? Just from simple observation, it doesn't look like Will Horton even has the motive to pull off such a murder. From what we've seen, there was no animosity between him and his mother-in-law. If there were signs there, like she didn't think he was good enough for Sonny, or maybe if she held the mindset that he turned Sonny, or some other harmful reason.
Then I could see him having actual motive to do away with his mother-in-law, but from what has been presented, Adrienne has been a supportive figure throughout all of this, so motive isn't really a thing that Will has. Just say an apostrophe. Everyone has moments where they lose it, and back when Will was diagnosed with a brain tumor, he had a very erratic personality that tended to switch from one wild mood swing to the other. But that is no longer an option, considering Will was cured of the brain tumor, unless Dr. Rolf's serum has failed and the brain tumor has recurred. But I think, considering prisons have health care, because if they didn't, that would be cruel and unusual punishment. They would have found it by now since he is in prison. I also don't think they'd rehash that storyline again. There's only so many times in one's life that one can blame adverse reactions on a brain tumor.
This is the theory I'm banking on. Since at the time there was a rash of tragic accidents to be had, Jennifer Deveraux and Haley Chen, I'm thinking that Will has an epic case of butterfingers and things just went to hell. The only thing that we truly know about how Adrienne died up until this point is that her internal injuries were too great for her to survive. This can point to several things. One is a car accident. So perhaps Will was either driving drunk/irresponsibly, or maybe he simply just didn't see Adrienne as he was backing out of the driveway and bam! Adrienne doesn't live here anymore. Since a lot of people seem to be falling to their deaths at the time, maybe this is the same thing that happened to Adrienne, and it looked like something Will was doing made her fall.
Going back to temporary insanity, another thing that would make her have massive internal injuries would be a physical attack. But since there doesn't seem to be any real evidence of that, we'll rule out that possibility. One would be tempted to point out the battle with Leo Stark a few years ago that resulted in Leo's death, but the fact of the matter is, while Will was involved in the altercation that pushed Leo into the fire, he ultimately wasn't the one to push him in. That responsibility belongs with Sonny Kyriakis, so that begs the question, did Sonny actually do it, and is Will just taking the blame for it? Because that would make sense that Will would take the blame for something that his husband actually did. But if Sonny really loved Will as much as he says he does, then why on earth would he let him? So that theory may or may not hold water.
The only person on earth that Will might love more than Sonny would be his daughter, little Ariana Horton. If there had been a tragic accident where little Ariana was over playing with grandma and things went south, of course he would take one for the team and tell the police that it was him. I'm not sure what little Ariana could do that would inflict massive internal damage, but hey. Kids don't think an Ariana wouldn't be the first child that's ever gotten behind the wheel of daddy's car and floorboarded it. Either way, we can't wait to see how this story pans out. Stay tuned. For any other soap opera and entertainment news, please visit Daily Soap Dish. For more royal and celeb baby news, come back to Celeb Baby Laundry. Goodbye, see you again.